The Department of Homeland Security has announced an interim final rule ending the practice of automatically extending employment authorization documents for aliens filing renewal applications in certain employment authorization categories. Hey guys, so the Department of Homeland Security has decided to make life even harder for immigrants who are in the US and trying to apply for legal immigration benefits. They issued an interim notice indicating that DHS ends automatic extension of employment authorization. The Department of Homeland Security has announced an interim final rule ending the practice of automatically extending employment authorization documents for aliens filing renewal applications in certain employment authorization categories. So this is pretty on brand for the Trump administration, just trying to make life harder for immigrants generally, even for those who are applying for legal benefits. Aliens who filed to renew their EAD, their employment authorization document or work permits, on or after October 30th, 2025 will no longer receive an automatic extension of their EAD. There are limited exceptions, for example, TPS-related automatic extensions. This is the part that kills me. There's a direct quote. USCIS is placing a renewed emphasis on robust alien screening and vetting, eliminating procedures the former administration implemented that prioritized aliens' convenience ahead of American safety and security, said USCIS Director Joseph Edlow. It's a common sense measure to ensure appropriate vetting and screening has been completed before an alien's employment authorization or documentation is extended. All aliens must remember that working in the US is a privilege, not a right. First of all, this policy that automatically extended employment authorization started during COVID era restrictions under Trump's last term. So it's not even like a Joe Biden thing that they're turning around. Second of all, they're saying they need to appropriately vet and screen immigrants. They already did that. You have your work permit, you're just trying to renew it. What this policy actually does, it just makes lots of people lose their jobs. And that's unfortunate given the current economic realities and the fact that businesses are already struggling to keep workers employed. What the automatic employment authorization extension did was, if you apply to extend your work permit before your current work permit expires, you will receive an automatic extension while that new application is pending, because it could be pending for like 6 months. So let's say, for example, your work permit is supposed to expire this December. You want to get ahead of it and apply 90 days early to renew your work permit because you don't want to have a lapse in your employment authorization because you might end up losing your job at the end of December when your work permit expires. So 90 days beforehand, in September, you apply to renew your work permit. You're waiting September, October, November, and now your work permit is about to expire and you still have not received your new work permit. Under the old policy, when your current work permit expires, as long as you could show that you timely filed a renewal application, you will continue to have an extension for over a year. It was like 540-day extension, which is overkill, but there were situations where some work permit renewals were taking over a year. Under the new policy, come December, you'll lose your job because you lose your employment authorization. And then, 3 months later, when your new work permit gets approved in March, you need to go begging your employer for your old job back. This is super inefficient and it's gonna ruin lives, which is pretty on brand for the Trump administration. This interim notice says, USCIS recommends aliens seek a timely renewal of their EAD by properly filing a renewal application up to 180 days before their work permit expires. The longer an alien waits to file the work permit renewal application, the more likely it is that they'll experience a temporary lapse in their employment authorization or documentation. This assumes that USCIS is likely to make a decision on your work permit renewal in 180 days or less, which is not the case for many people. I have people who've been waiting 14, 15 months for their work permit renewal. The work permit automatic extension was the only reason they didn't lose their jobs and weren't forced to live on the streets. So this is all BS to me, and this is a terrible policy. I'm really upset it's happening, and I think it's gonna hurt a lot of people. All right, guys, that's the end of today's video. If you wanna stay up to date on all the recent craziness that's happening under the Trump administration, be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you need an attorney, an immigration attorney, to assist you with any family-based immigration, green card application, citizenship, deportation defense, You can speak with me, Puyan Darian. I'm an immigration attorney handling these matters nationwide. So if this is something you need help with, you can use the link in the video description to schedule a consultation, or you can go to my website, darianlaw.com, to book a direct consultation there. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time for another video.